Good morning, Eagles fans, and good morning, NFL fans, for a pre-free agency video today. Big topics to talk about, of course, is free agency needs for my Philadelphia Eagles, as well as, of course, talking about LeSean McCoy trade. Now, and the other big thing to talk about is also Chip Kelly's power that he has received. Very interesting time. As we know, Chip Kelly has been the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles since 2013, and our team has been taking steps to change and become quicker and run a quicker type of offense, and has been successful the past 2 seasons with 10-6 records. Of course, still missing the playoffs last year, but coming in at 10-6. Year before, winning the NFC East at 10-6 and losing in the playoffs against the Saints. A lot of talk has been talked about the power Chip Kelly has received because of the moves that have been made recently. We were all very excited to get Chip Kelly. Seemed to be a football mastermind. That's what, coming out of Oregon. And everything was fine until he really started shaking things up. Desean Jackson just released. LeSean McCoy traded for Kiko Alonso, however you say it, Kiko. I'll just call him Kiko for right now. Buffalo, a linebacker that played for Chip Kelly in Oregon. And as we're finding out, in a few hours it might be made official that Jeremy Maclin will be gone, which was our first-round draft pick, I believe, in 2009, which had a lot of yards and touchdowns for us last year, betting on himself, and he did very well. He might be headed to Kansas City with Andy Reid. And there's a lot of different ways of looking at this. I definitely don't want to give the homer answer and just blindly say, just whatever he does, whatever. We're educated fans of all teams, but here in Philadelphia, I represent Philadelphia. We're very educated fans. We know our team. We do get emotional, but it's because we want to win. We're one of the few teams that haven't won a Lombardi trophy. Yeah, we have 3 NFL championships in 1948, 49, and 1960. One of the few teams that beat Vince Lombardi in a championship game, 17-13, Franklin Field. I'm just saying. But we want to win. We've gone way too long without winning. We've had a couple teams. We especially had 2 teams that should have won, but didn't because the other team was better that day. Super Bowl 15 against Oakland, losing 27-10, and of course Super Bowl, I believe, 39 against the Patriots, losing 24-21. Coming so close, at least getting a trophy worth talking about in our case, which has us as Eagles fans more pent up and more nervous when it doesn't look like these things are going to happen or it looks like our chances are fading away. But then comes in Chip Kelly. That's taken pieces from Andy Reid's team and it's gone 10-6 2 years in a row. Implemented a high, fast-paced offense that has changed the league in some aspects. And you see that being used on other successful teams. But there seems to be some level of handcuff that we put on Chip Kelly by putting Howie Roseman there to make decisions, football decisions, when last time I checked, he doesn't have the same background as Chip Kelly. Or Tom Gamble, the guy that they fired earlier. These other guys that read football longer than Howie Roseman's been alive, or has been inside of football at a way different level. Chip Kelly has all the power for player personnel, and there's only 3 coaches in the league that have that type of power, and Chip Kelly's one of them. It's no mistake that the other 2 coaches played against each other in this last year's Super Bowl. Pete Carroll Bill Belichick. Now, they have proven it. Bill Belichick, of course, has played in 6 Super Bowls. Won 4 of them. Pete Carroll has played, actually, I think in 3 Super Bowls. I think he played he was a coach of the Patriots in '96 when they played the Packers of New England. And he also has coached the last 2 with Seattle. Of course, he's 1 and 2 in those Super Bowls, but they have been proven. People say, well, the book is still on Chip Kelly. Of course, because he hasn't proven it in the Super Bowl yet. But just like Bill, when he was the coach of the Cleveland Browns, he only had 1 winning season. Who would have thought that he would turn into the mastermind that he is today? If the Browns thought so, when they moved and all that stuff, then they would have held on to him. That's a no-brainer. So yeah, there's a period of time that he has to prove it through actually winning. But my perspective on this is we have to take a shot. We have to take a legit shot to go all in to win the Super Bowl. There's no way of saying it. Whether we agree with all the things that he does and says, I actually like the fact that he doesn't care if we agree with it or not, because, you know what, we'll all show up together on that parade on Broad Street if it happens. And that's his goal. Anybody that doubts his goal to win the whole thing, it's not really thinking straight. He definitely wants to win the whole thing, but you need more than just stats to do it. Stats like rushing titles and just touchdowns. You need wins. That's what you need. In order to win, you need a team to win it. Very few teams in the NFL that I can remember just had one star that really carried the entire team. Even when a player like Peyton Manning won against Chicago, his defense won that game, not Peyton Manning. Dan Marino, one of the best passers of all time, has no Super Bowl because the team couldn't win. Then you have a guy like Trent Dilfer that has a Super Bowl ring because the team won. So this trade McCoy and Kiko can be viewed as very smart. There's different ways of looking at that, and I can throw stats out there. You better believe I know them. I know his yards after the hit has completely gone down. I know, especially when our offensive line was hurting. I know what they're saying about running backs when they hit in their late 20s, how they drop off. Those are some of the more negative things they're saying about LeSean McCoy and justifying trading him. There's also things you can point to, like the Clinton Portis trade with Denver, Champ Bailey. That's a win-win right there. You can also point to the Herschel Walker trade that Jimmy Johnson did when he got to Dallas and sent Herschel Walker in his prime to the Minnesota Vikings. That worked out for Dallas, and they won 3 or 4 Super Bowls in a time frame. He built a juggernaut off it. He got draft picks though. Here's a very interesting trade because it's a player for a player, and we free up cap space. And so it's things to think about when we look back on this a year, 2, 3, or 4 from now. Does Buffalo do anything with McCoy? We'll be watching. I have a tracker I'm going to start putting on my website. A tracker to see how things are done. Does Shady McCoy start running like Brian Westbrook did when we had to heavily rely on him? Because as an Eagles fan, I know we don't use him on 3rd and 1. It doesn't happen because he runs more east and west than north or south. So that's when we put in Chris Polk. Well, that's when we run in something different with Darren Sproles. So he's been mostly a 2-down back, unless we're 3rd and 6 or so, and then we can do some other things. And yes, he does have a lot of skill and talent, making people miss in the open field. Yeah, you can say the negative stuff about him carrying the ball out here, but he doesn't fumble a whole lot. So there's different ways of looking at it, but we're going to watch this. Looking at the Kiko side, how does he affect our defense? Now you're going to put him alongside of Michael Kendricks. Kiko was the runner-up defensive rookie of the year in 2013. He was injured all last year. How does that pair up with Michael Kendricks for the next 5 years or so? Is LeSean McCoy still even in the league? And is Kiko actually the Champ Bailey side of the Clinton Portis trade? Champ Bailey is one of the best cover corners of all time. So to put Kiko there now, but it's a bigger picture that Chip Kelly's probably looking at. He knows what he's getting with Kiko because he coached him in college. He knows what he should be getting in the locker room, and he believes that he can fit into the system at linebacker, where you have a D'Amico Ryans coming back from injury. Maybe better for the scheme, especially trying to get faster and younger. I know what I think. I know what I believe. I know I do believe in taking chances. I do. Because otherwise we end up like, what was it, the 2000 or 2001 Sixers, where you have Allen Iverson, a guy that everybody loves, wins the MVP of the league, but we still lose to the Lakers. I don't want these little moral victories. I don't want to just beat Dallas twice and talk trash. I don't want anything less than a Super Bowl trophy. I don't want to take legit steps to actually get there. And it might not be the most popular thing right now. And there's a lot of pissed off Eagles fans about McCoy getting traded. About Maclin most likely not being signed. Even though the Eagles went for it. And about Desean Jackson just being released. But we have to ask ourselves, are we going for it? Or are we destroying the team? Now it's all Chip Kelly. We thought it started in 2013, but he still had people influencing around him. Now it's completely Chip Kelly. All the decisions on the player personnel is exactly what Chip Kelly wants. There's no more excuses, right? And that's what we want in Philly. We want to know exactly what somebody's thinking, but at the same time, we don't even need for him to check in with the media anymore. You know why? Because the decisions being made, he has the power to make them. So he doesn't have to convince us with talking. Talk is cheap. And that's something we can hold him accountable, but at the same time, as Eagles fans, we got to step behind him. Being fully aware of what's going on. Not being ignorant and blind and just being a homer. We got to be fully aware of what's going on and, ask intelligent questions and then seeing the results, but being behind them the entire way. Because I don't want to be one of those people, well, we'll just see it. I'll just sit back here. No, you know why? Because I know I'll be on Broad Street giving him a high five we win the Super Bowl in the next couple years. So you know what? I'm in. I'm in. A lot of free agency talk about us signing Maxwell from Seattle. We all are scared. That's the other thing about being an Eagles fan. We're definitely scared about the dream team. I'm going to say it. We're scared of that. You know why? Because we got a bunch of people before, Nami Asamoah and Cromartie and Rogers Cromartie and all these other players, and it ended up just blowing up in our face. And like Vince Young, probably selling towels right now. It blew up in our face. So yeah, of course we're scared about what's going on. Because we've seen it recently blow up in our face. We can't live scared. I'm a Nick Foles guy. I like Nick Foles. I put it on somebody's desk. I think he can win the Super Bowl. I do. But if Chip Kelly sees to be trading for Mariota, to make our offense the way that he wants it to be, the way that I kind of see it, imagine like I did mechanics in the Navy. If somebody asked me to rebuild an engine, but told me the tools I needed to use to do it, like told me I had to use the tools that they wanted me to use, regardless of what my plan is, I've done that a lot. I've done that job a lot. I know what tools I need. I don't need somebody else's old tools that don't work the way that I want them to work. I know what tools I need to perform the job. We need Chip Kelly to put the pieces in place and to coach a winning Super Bowl team. How he gets there is up to him. How he gets there is up to him. But if he wins the Super Bowl, I don't care if Elmo is the quarterback. If he wins the Super Bowl with him, I'm okay. Quickly going to the free agent stuff. Looks like we're getting Maxwell. We'll find out in a couple hours. Looks like Frank Gore is pulling out of the verbal kind of sort of deal that you're not allowed to have anyway. Looks like we're targeting an offensive lineman from Denver. And there's a bunch of other things. It looks like we're going to be in the market for a wide receiver. So we might get Dwayne Bowe from Kansas City. We'll see. But we don't know until it happens. And I'm looking forward to just Chip Kelly proving it through his actions. And I'm looking forward to supporting the Eagles, but also continuing to post stuff, either YouTube, or I'm going to actually start posting things on a website I'm developing right now. Just follow where we are since 2013, and it's 14 and 15 and beyond. I'm looking forward to hearing your comments. I've gotten a lot of comments from a lot of different teams, as well as not just the Eagles, team fans. And I appreciate every one of them. I read every one of them. And let's just be intelligent fans that hold our team accountable, but we're with them 100%. Well, it's time for one of the craziest off seasons in Philadelphia Eagles history. And I'm going to enjoy the ride. Have a great day. And go Birds.